Books. I love reading books. I have books here, a little bit down here, a little bit down here, a little shelf down here, and another one right below it. These are just the books that I have right here and now, and I have a bunch left at my mom's house, and I also have plenty of ebooks. I love to read. I read almost every day. I'm not trying to brag. Well, maybe just a little bit. Overall, I was trying to bring you up to Jeb's most mysterious and intriguing green book. The issue is that in 2020, on Minecraft Live, Jens Bergensten, for the first time ever, didn't appear in the section talking about the new update. It was a bit weird, considering he was the director of Minecraft at that time. As it turned out later, there was a separate section for him, where he explained everything himself. He just didn't want to talk about anything he hadn't worked on. He gave some advice, but he was not directly involved in the development of the new update. In fact, Agnes Larsson was now the director of Minecraft, and she was responsible for all future updates. Jeb wasn't fired, don't worry. He became Chief Creative Officer. This is the highest position in the company's creative team. He is responsible for pretty much the entire Minecraft franchise. Check out this little clip here.
Help everyone, both in Stockholm and in Redmond. I wrote a book, a Minecraft game design book.
Are you trying to sell that to everyone in the audience watching?
No, this is only for Mojang Studios employees. It contains a lot of secrets. But it was helpful when the team grew to kind of explain my thoughts and ideas about Minecraft. And for Vanilla particular, there are some guiding principles that are going to help us continue updating the game for many years to come.
Then Jeb talks about some of the things in the book, which at the time seemed to be in high need, given the fact that ordinary folks can't read the book. It would seem that this is the end of the video, and thank you all for watching, but everything is not so simple. You all know very well that Mojang was founded by Marcus Persson in Stockholm. Until now, this office is the most important one. There they work on the Java edition of the game, and also come up with new ideas for the whole update. In Sweden, they are proud that Marcus and Jens were able to create such a popular game. So much so that it's unclear how, but the National Library of Sweden, also called the Royal Library, was able to convince Jens, or Mojang in general, to donate this book to their library. By the way, some other libraries in Sweden have it, in the city of Umeå as well as Lund. If suddenly you live somewhere nearby or directly there, you can safely reserve this book and read it right there on the spot. It is written in English. I have left all the necessary references in the description. Until now, I have never been to Sweden, so I would like to say that I have read this book myself, but I have read this book. Even more, I will say, you can read it too. The thing is that on June 24th, someone uploaded a scanned version of this book to the Internet Archive. Everyone can download it and read it. Now let us finally take a look at the book and try to find out all its secrets. What I like the most is that at the very beginning of the book, Jeb mentions Notch, so he's not trying to hide information about whom the original creator of the game is. Although, as far as I know, to put it mildly, the relationship between Notch and Jeb has gone sour after the game was sold. They weren't exactly good before that, but we'll talk about that some other time. The book is divided into 4 sections. Introduction, what is Minecraft, guideline principles, and anecdotes. Introduction, a section that tells what Notch was inspired by when creating the game, and in a bit more detail, what principles were taken from these games. In general, these are the mechanics of Dwarf Fortress, Dungeon Master, Roller Coaster Tycoon, in the style of Infinimeter. In the section, what is Minecraft? Jens tried to tell what the game was about. What is its essence, and what are its main aspects? In a nutshell, Minecraft is a free-to-play world of adventure, where everyone can find something to do according to their preference or tastes. Exploring the world of the game is very interesting. Jens talks about finding things as fun, searching for things as not. That's a damn good point. When we first explore a new update, we want to find new things, find out what's changed. Some players don't watch snapshot reviews because of this, instead preferring to find new things themselves. For them, this is the exploration and is a fraction of the adventure. Minecraft is therefore so flexible that almost every player finds something to do. Even the most ordinary building of a house can cause you to build a full-fledged computer that runs on redstone. Even the most simple activity of mining blocks to build seems like a bore. But remember how unusual it is to finish building and realize that you were interested in the path, not the result. The castle you built wouldn't have felt the same if it had been built at the click of a button. Minecraft is limitless. Everyone can improve their building, make it even bigger, or modernize it. All this meditativity gives only pluses. After all, when you're done, you've created something amazing. The game can be scary. As in the case of Warden, it's really a horror, or quite silly and funny. Like for example, a panda who sneezes, and her sneeze makes all the other pandas jump up. So Minecraft will definitely help you deal with your boredom. For me, the most important part is the guidelines principles. Yes, exactly, those principles to which new and old developers should listen to. They are not so many, only 21 rules. And as it seemed to me, me. It is more recommendations than rules that cannot be broken. Of course, I do not want to talk about all the rules. It would be too long. It is better to read it yourself. I will choose only the most important ones. One block at a time. The point was this: players should only interact with one block at a time. There should be no copy-paste functions. This is something I don't really agree with. If we're talking about survival, it's the right decision, but if we're talking about map makers, for them, it's an indispensable thing. I always wondered why the developers didn't make Alex and Steve the main characters of Story Mod. After all, they are the main characters of the vanilla game. But as it turned out, they are the mascots of Minecraft. They should not play an active role in side games. Therefore, in dungeons, you can choose optionally these characters. About the RPG component of Minecraft, it is difficult to say something. It simply does not exist. This is not a traditional role-playing game. The character does not improve his skills over time. The most important progression in the game is the player's items and knowledge. So Minecraft is not supposed to be an RPG game. You've definitely seen the next rule. All bad things are mostly the fault of the players. The game should not create situations that cannot be avoided. And when they do, they should have a minor impact. Game mechanics should not ruin a player's hours of work. The players themselves should be the initiators of the problem, and they should be able to prevent it. The best example is iron golems that do not interact with creepers. Items should be multifunctional. This is also an important rule. Our inventory is limited. We're always running out of it. Every time we are going on a trip, we take all the important items with us. We think our steps ahead of time. So items should have different uses. But there should be a balance. For example, the Totem of Undying, it has only one use, but it affects the gameplay quite a lot. The same can be said about shulkers. It's a portable backpack, but you can't stack them inside each other. It would be too cheaty. Do you know why we don't have the Malinaire mod in the game? This is the mod that adds the ability to expand the village by interacting with the villagers. You can even become the leader of the village. It's one of my favorite mods. So, players must build their own world is another one of Jeb's rules. If a village needs a defense wall, it's up to the player to build it. As painful as it may be, Jeb is against the debug menu. That's the menu that's accessed by pressing the F3 key. That was the whole problem. We have to rely on the objects of the game world, use the maps and features that the game itself gives us. If they don't exist, they have to be invented and added to the game. Ever wondered that all the real-life animals in Minecraft are friendly? There's no animal mob that is hostile to the player. It's all part of the rules, too. Sure, there are mobs like wolves, polar bears, and llamas, but they are neutral. In real life, this is their behavior, and they will not attack you unless you yourself do not hit. All this is done so that players can meet them on a peaceful difficulty. If we mention hostile mobs, they should be unique. In fact, the developers are free to create new mythology and not limit themselves to traditional mythological creatures such as minotaurs and unicorns. Something unique needs to be created. This rule doesn't apply to the undead. They are the most iconic enemies to compare other mobs to. Notch really wanted to add them to the game. All of you also know about the fact that there is no blood in Minecraft. Even though Minecraft is a game for everyone, Jeb insists that there was no gore, only fantasy violence. For this reason, there will never be guns in Minecraft. Because of this rule, the killer rabbits and zombie pigmen even had their textures changed to remove the blood elements. In my video about Herobrine, I talked about how this whole story was good for both sides. Players were getting interesting food for thought, and developers were getting popularity for the game. It all proved to be true. Not solving mysteries or giving answers to unknown and strange things in the game are part of the rules. I can honestly say that there's nothing wrong with that. If the developers gave direct answers to questions like who built the fortress or why do monsters appear at night, it wouldn't be as interesting. After all, there would not be hundreds of different hypotheses and theories on this topic. I think everyone knows about it, but there are no genders in the game. All villagers are gender-neutral pacifist mobs. This rule applies to both peaceful and hostile mobs. There are inconsistencies because cows give milk. They are female, then how can they produce offspring? That's probably another mystery they won't give us an answer to. I don't quite agree with the next one. There's a rule called death is real. It implies that all new things should be designed with hardcore difficulty. For example, the developers were planning to add an achievement for a spectacular death. It was a very awesome idea, but since it's impossible to do it on hardcore, the idea was rejected. We're always taking benefit of the bugs in Minecraft. You can't take that away from us. Often, some bugs remain in the game intentionally, but these are only those that were not implemented as an intentional feature. On such a principle appeared energy rails in the game because before, instead of them was a bug on booster rails. So if the bug is significant for players, it will be added as a new feature. As far as I'm concerned, those are all important rules for game development. There are a few more of them in there. I missed some. It is better for you to research them in more detail yourself. The last section is stories. In the original, it said anecdotes. And actually, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, now I'm going to laugh heartily at Jeb's jokes. Turns out, they're just unusual situations that have been written as little short stories and histories. In fact, that's only a plus. There are only 6 stories in this section, but only 2 I remember most of all. The first is about the tragic fate of the rose flower. As it turned out, it was originally supposed to remain a regular flower, but one of the players pointed out that they are flowering shrubs, not flowers, so they had to change the roses to poppies. The next story, I was already familiar with it. Its developers have already told somewhere. It's about how they came up with names for illagers. In short, they were originally supposed to be called ill-willed villagers. There were several other options, but in the end, they stopped at the shortest, illagers. There's also a story about the beacon, the one that emits a beam of light and gives different effects. It was also invented by Jeb. After he went to survival mode server, he saw that there was a lot of stuff already built on the server and people were just having fun. So he wanted to add some grind to the game. So people would have to mine plenty of resources to build a pyramid. But he admitted that the players outsmarted his idea because they began to obtain iron, not in the mines, but to farm it with iron farms. There's also a very lore page about Enderman, where his main and terrible secret is revealed, what they were created for, but I'd better leave it for you. Read the book yourself, you will be shocked. Write then in the comments what you think about it. I will be interested to read. By the way, maybe somewhere you saw a page about poisonous potatoes, as I thought it was written very much in the spirit of understanding game design, but it's actually an April Fool's joke from the Minecraft Ideas Academy channel. They created it, and that's really hilarious. Did you already read this book? Write in the comments section down below. And if you are waiting for a new video, check out these ones. They are also very interesting. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and click on the bell. We'll hear from you again.